What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Bad Religion, and we're going back to their 1989 album No Control again. I've mentioned it before, this is one of my favorite albums of theirs, sort of part of a 3-album run that I think they just basically were flawless during this period. But we're going to listen to the title tune. It's another lyrical triumph, I think. This is a song that speaks very insightfully to the human condition, especially over the eons of time and into the present day. But it does so, or it expresses those ideas, and I think in a very poetic way. So again, it's another lyrical triumph. And it's a song that speaks to human intelligence, again, over evolutionary timescales. And it speaks to the way in which human intelligence, as it developed over evolutionary timescales, it conferred advantages to humans as they learned to, utilize their environment to make tools and cooperate and coordinate and socially integrate to a degree such that it gave them advantages on a species level competition, which incidentally is different from biological evolution through natural selection, which occurs on a genetic level. But ultimately it gave humankind an advantage relative to other species, which over time led to humans becoming this sort of dominant primary species on Earth. And it sort of gets to the idea that culture is the outgrowth of human intelligence. It's human intelligence like writ large, or like manifested beyond any individual brain, but we're plagued by it. The song makes the case that, we're now plagued by our very intelligence. We see ourselves as sort of above and beyond non-human animals now in the way that we develop our technology, in the way that we see ourselves as having this special, like, cognitive quality distinct from other species, which we now know ultimately is not really accurate. There are all sorts of intelligent and emotional types of cognition in the non-human world, including those which, include learning mechanisms, the ability to understand symbolic representation and language and so on, and this is in both mammalian and non-mammalian species, like crows or ravens, for example, are incredibly intelligent. But regardless, the idea is that humans think that we have this sort of elevated plane, but we're plagued by it, and we also try to see ourselves in time, but we're not going to be part of the future. We can't get back to the past. We're rooted in the present. And so we're plagued by this consciousness. Our consciousness has become this sort of weight or anchor, even though it's originally the thing that allowed our species to sort of emerge. And it's saying, like, we think we're in control now. We think we have control because we have this intelligence, but all that it really allows us to see is how not in control we are. And there's a line, it's sort of like that Ozymandias thing, where it's like, if you think you're immune from this, well, hey, you'll be king for a day, but you too, like everything else, will be swept away. That's not the exact line. I'm blanking on what the exact phrasing is, but it's that same idea that, like, if you think you're above and beyond this, if you think, well, but I can, use my human intelligence to really take hold of the present and I'm going to shape the future and what, it's like, no, like, you're a biological creature, and your consciousness, your human intelligence, has given you this sort of like a perspective that you have some sort of privileged position over other living things, but ultimately, you're doomed like all the rest. So yeah, it's a song that I think speaks to the way in which modern human brains are partly why we're here in the first place, but they are also why, even though we try to study things in our moments of comfort and so on, it's like, I forget what the exact line is, but it's basically saying, like, yeah, now that we have these brains, we can, have the ability to be curious about things and try to learn about them, but we're rooted in the present day, we're rooted in our own biological lives. So yeah, I think it's a profound song, and it does speak to the way in which human intelligence is sort of a double-edged sword, in that, like, we recognize, like, how powerless we are because of the bit of cognitive power that we have. So yeah, sorry if I meandered there. Sometimes when I talk about lyrics or Bad Religion, I feel like, they are sometimes opaque and poetic to the point where, like, I'm trying to get at what they're saying from a couple different angles, and it's like, oh shit, I've been talking for 6 minutes. So anyway, let's get to it. This is the title tune from No Control by Bad Religion on the album No Control. Culture was the seed of proliferation, but I got it and led into an inharmonical
There's no vestige of beginning, no prospect of an end. When we all disintegrate, we'll all have been again, yeah. Time is so unsolid, minds of horrors what they can. Explain why it should slip away, explain why it should slip away. History features of comfort time like curiosity, but here we are, rooted in the present day, rooted in the present day. Questions that besiege us tonight, a testament of our helplessness.
Sing it, Greg.
There's no vestige of beginning, no prospect of an end. When we all disintegrate, we'll all have been again, yeah.
If you came to conquer, you'll be king for a day, but you too will deteriorate and quickly fade away. I have to like hear the music, and then I remember it.
Your path is clear. We have no control. We have no control.
The oohs and
We
ahs.
have no control.
We do not understand.
You have no control.
You are not in command.
You have no control. We have no control. No control. No control. You have no control.
Flawless. It's what, again, there's like they just didn't put a sonic foot wrong during this period, and every song just has my brain percolating, if sometimes meandering as well. Yeah, big shout out to them. I don't know who wrote this one specifically. I'm gonna guess Greg. A lot of Greg's songs get at like the human condition more broadly. Sometimes I feel like Brett writes in a way that it'll be like about, you know, a religious allegory or so on, and the way in which, you know, like modern humanity and society do not represent sort of the principles therein. But I feel like Greg sort of writes from like an anthropological perspective in a lot of cases, so I wouldn't be surprised to learn this is by him. Let me know if you're aware just off the bat. I'll look it up afterward, and if I remember to do so, I'll put it in the comments. But yeah, let me know what you think of that one. Still plenty of songs on this album that I haven't gotten to, so let me know if there's another one you'd like to hear. Other than that, thank you for listening and watching. I'll see you next time.